How you should be training as a senior. Really, it's no different at all. Everybody thinks that seniors need to have these special considerations, that they should sit in chairs and do all their exercises from there, or work out in a pool because it makes you lighter and it's easier on your joints and all this stuff. And while those things are probably good in the right context, they're not ideal and they're not necessary for most seniors. So if you're over 65, or even heck, if you're even over 50, 55 years old, you might have this idea in your head that you need to take it easy, that you need to act your age, and that you shouldn't be doing long runs or lifting heavy weights or anything like that because your body is getting too brittle. Well, I got news for you. Your body doesn't get brittle because you get older. Your body gets brittle because you stop using it, because you think you should be taking it easy. Your body will respond the exact same way to exercise. It'll adapt, it'll get stronger at any age, whether you're 16, 65, 75, the same adaptations occur. Yes, they're slower, and yes, you might have a little bit more, a slightly lower ceiling, but you're still able to make improvements at any age, and you're still able to do a lot more than you think you're capable of doing. I've been training people 50, 60 plus for my entire career. And I thought I was going to be the guy that trained the hardcore athletes, but I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy training these folks. They're great people. I learn a lot from them, and hopefully they learn a little bit from me as well. But really, again, it's no different. I have people 50, 60 plus do barbell squats, deadlifts, bench press. I have them jump. Sometimes I have them sprint. I have them do kettlebell swings. I have them do lunges. I have them do chin-ups. I do all the same stuff with them that I would do with any other population. Now, maybe fewer of them can do a body weight chin-up or do as much weight on a squat. But again, it's all the same work that we put in. And some of them, yes, they're going to have a longer injury history. So if this is you, you may have, yes, a few more injuries, surgeries under your belt, and you might have to work around some things. And that's something that should be discussed with a physical therapist, your doctor in the right circumstances, or in an assessment with a trainer. So if you can find yourself a good coach that's not going to confine you to a chair or the pool, then you can really see a huge transformation in your ability to function in day-to-day life. You're going to be able to do a lot of the things you used to be able to do. But right now, my guess is if you're aging, you're feeling a lot more aches and pains than you used to. You're feeling maybe some more back tightness, shoulder pain, maybe you have a knee replacement coming up. I don't know what it is, but you're going to see a lot of these things, but they can be worked around. I've seen a lot of people with these different ailments, and we've been able to work around them, find different modifications or variations of certain exercises that they can do safely. And I've been able to take some of these individuals from doing a more basic exercise or a variation to doing the one that I more typically use. A very common thing is doing an overhead press. Overhead pressing can be a really difficult for anybody that's, over 30, because we've been spending so much time sitting for years that our shoulders are hunched, our upper back is rounded, and we have a hard time getting our arm over our head in an effective manner that doesn't hurt. So a lot of people have shoulder restrictions, myself included, that can hinder them from doing an overhead press without pain or properly getting their arm straight over their head with a locked out elbow. So that's just one of many examples. And but again, I have them do maybe an incline bench press or a landmine press where you're pressing at an angle, not straight vertically over your head. So lifting weights, very important, okay? Very important as a senior. You're losing every year, every decade that you get older, you're losing bone density, you're losing muscle mass, you're losing strength, you're becoming more brittle. Your body isn't as resilient to falling or certain activities might leave you rendered useless for several days because your body just isn't strong enough to handle it without paying the price later on. And I'm seeing this with people my age. I'm 35, and I'm seeing some people my age that already are starting to experience some of these things. People that have thrown their backs out on multiple occasions, or a weekend of cleaning their house or something like that just leaves them achy, tired, sore, lethargic. And this isn't good. I mean, I'm 35, but I still feel like I'm 25 sometimes, especially up here. But again, lifting weights is going to make your body more resilient. It's going to turn back the clock. It's going to build muscle mass that you're losing right now. It's going to increase your bone density when you do the right things. It's going to make your body more sensitive to insulin. It's going to help with diabetes. It's going to help learning to move in different ways. It's going to help create new neural pathways in your brain and stimulate your brain. It's going to help you feel better. It's going to boost your mood. It's going to give you more energy. In fact, that's one that you experience very quickly within just a week or two of starting a strength training program. You notice you have more energy for the day. And then everything you do every day is going to feel easier. Picking up your grandchildren, all right, or pushing the lawnmower, moving furniture around the house, getting up out of a chair or off the toilet. All these things that you never think about become that much easier. And it's hard to conceptualize it until you experience it. But I guarantee you, if you give this just 2 or 3 months, you're going to start to notice a big difference in your body's ability to function and not pay the price later on, not have crazy soreness, not have crazy body aches. Okay? If you do it correctly, you're going to see the results. You just got to commit and be consistent, and it will work. It's worked with everybody I've ever trained. So lifting weights, 2 to 3 hours a week, not a huge commitment. For some of us, maybe more than others. But this can be broken up. You can do 2 or 3 hour-long sessions a week. You can do a few 30-minute sessions. You can do a few 45-minute sessions. Heck, you could even do 15 minutes at a time, 6 days a week if you wanted to. So you can break it up into different time periods, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the classic hour-long session if you can't carve that amount of time out of your day. But again, not a huge commitment overall. 2 or 3 hours a week, anybody could do that. So what sort of exercises should you do? Again, anything that your younger counterparts are doing. Again, squats, you can do goblet squats, holding a dumbbell in front of you. You can do barbell back squats, front squats. You can do deadlifts, kettlebell swings. You can do Turkish get-ups, overhead presses, lunges. You could go for a walk. We'll get into that later. You can do some cardio, but my biggest recommendation would be to start getting yourself stronger, because again, it reverses a lot of these things that we experience as we get older. Our body's becoming more frail. And it's not good. It's not a healthy thing. It's not the way we should be aging. We all think that aging means that you're no longer useful or you're no longer capable, but that is not the case. Trust me, I see it every day of the week in this gym. So lift some weights, 2-3 hours a week. Do some squats. Do some things that are going to load your muscles, your skeleton, in a way that's going to closely mimic the types of movements that you would do in everyday life. We squat all the time. Again, getting up off the toilet, getting out of a chair. We deadlift. We pick things up off the floor all the time. We push things. We pull things. So these are the types of exercises you should be doing. Pushing, pulling, squatting, lunging. Okay? Make it as functional as you can without getting too crazy. Okay? Functional training has gone off the deep end in the past. I think now it's safe to say that it's not really all the hype now. So you're not seeing as much crazy stuff when it comes to functional training, but I digress. So lift some weights 2-3 times a week, 15 minutes to an hour at a time, and focus on the important exercises that I just mentioned. Walk, go for a walk. Walk every day. Walk as much as you can. Get up off your chair. Walking is seriously underrated. If you can get yourself more to the 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day range, you're going to start to notice you have more energy. Maybe you drop a few pounds in body weight. Again, it doesn't take very much, but if you're sitting all day, if you're confined to a wheelchair, get outside and wheel yourself around. If you have a walker, use it. Get outside. Take as many steps as you can. Spread it out throughout the day. It doesn't have to be all at once. It can be, but go for walks out in nature. Go for a walk around your neighborhood, your street, your block. But get yourself moving throughout the day. Break it up. Do a few a day, or just get more steps in by taking the stairs or parking further away at the grocery store, whatever the case may be. Fitting it in a little bit at a time where you can is going to go a long way. It's good. It's good for your heart. It's not running, but walking, again, very useful, low impact, and just gets you more throughout the day. Even just going for a run, it's going to be good for you, yes, absolutely. But if you're able to walk more frequently and do that throughout an entire week, you're going to get more steps in. And then finally, mobility work. Yes, you want to work on your mobility. I think all of these are important. I definitely am I lean more towards the weight training just because of the incredible effects I've seen it have on people's lives. But mobility is going to be really important. Again, for some of the things that I talked about earlier. If you have joint restrictions, like if you can't overhead press or if you can't squat because your hips or ankles are really tight, then you're going to have to address some mobility issues that you have. And that might take an assessment or, again, seeing a physical therapist. But try to focus mostly on the areas that are problematic. If you have other areas that are tight and you want to stretch, by all means, go for it. But even just getting your body moving, doing a little bit of weight training will actually improve your mobility all by itself. Now, it's not going to fix everything, of course, but it does help. So just getting yourself moving can go a long way. But then, yes, adding some mobility work to a tight shoulder or maybe a tight back or hips is going to help you. If that's going to help you get into the positions you need to do the lifting or to do the things around your house, then you're going to need to prioritize those. So those are some of the big 3 things for seniors to do for their health, for their exercise. So again, don't confine yourself to a chair. Don't just work out in a pool. Use this as well. Can you do those things? Absolutely. And again, some people might not be able to do some of these weight training techniques that I've talked about, but they should be working towards that. If you're using the pool, if you're using a chair, the goal should be to graduate from those things and move on to weight-bearing exercises, because that's what's going to build your bone tissue, build your muscle tissue, help you function better around the house. All right, so you can still do those things along with your weight training and your walking if you want to, but ultimately try to get yourself doing some of those things. And I've seen a lot of people well over 40 or 50 that have done some pretty amazing things. Run Spartan races, do chin-ups, sprint, deadlift lots of weight. I've seen it. I've seen it happen, and I'm sure you've probably seen it. If you look on the internet, it doesn't take long to find some sort of motivational video of some 70, 80-year-old lady deadlifting 200, 300 pounds. It happens, and that should be the norm. That should be more the norm than the person that's confined to a wheelchair because they just don't use their bodies anymore. That should be what we're seeing. We should see vibrant, lively people in their later years playing with their grandchildren, going for hikes, helping. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my content, please hit the like button and subscribe for more weekly videos just like this.